3, 2, 1, go!
Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This is going to be video 1 of a 4-part series capturing my race in the Salida Enduro, an amateur enduro race with about 3,000 feet of vertical descent. Stage 1 is called Rusty Lung. It's a blue square that descends 406 feet over 1.5 miles. It's a blue flow trail that's perfect for beginners and intermediate riders. I've heard it's a favorite of people who ride Salida regularly. Quick disclaimer, since I was racing and not just chillin', I breathe really hard throughout the video. I tried my best to reduce the breathing sounds, but feel free to turn off the audio if it gets annoying. If the video sounds a little weird, it's because I used an equalizer to try to reduce the breathing as best I could. Before we start, I'd like to thank the race director, Mike, for putting on such an awesome race. This was seriously well organized and he communicated about the awful weather perfectly. I'd also like to thank everyone who volunteered at the race and everyone who volunteers to build these amazing trails. If you want to help support the Salida mountain bike trails, I've included a donation link in the description, and I'm sure there are volunteer opportunities on there as well. Now let's talk about the race a little bit. What's going through my head in stage 1 is that this is a relatively long stage for me. At 1.5 miles and 600 feet of descent, I'd expect this to take about 6 minutes. Just knowing my body, I know my back starts to get really fatigued after like 3 minutes of standing and mashing, so I have to pace myself very well here. To make matters worse, my dropper actually broke at the top of this stage, so before we dropped in the final climb. I was able to get it limping, but I didn't want to mess with it during the race, so I just kept it down. I didn't want it to get stuck in the up position, because that could be dangerous for me. All that to say, I didn't have a dropper, which made my back hurt a little worse. That being said, I think I paced myself really well. I'd guess that my heart rate was at like 170, 175 throughout the whole stage, and I didn't really have much back pain. Cardio and endurance is something I've been working on really hard this season. If you look at my race results for this race, you'll see some pretty crazy differences between the cardio stages and the technical stages. That being said, I am closing the gap between my cardio and technique, and I'm still really happy with how I did on this stage. So one thing going through my mind in this race was just preserving my energy. The other thing was practicing my exit speed on corners. If you know anything about racing, you know that having good exit speed matters way more than how fast you can actually get through the corner. I've been working a lot on my cornering technique over the winter and early this season, and I'm really happy to say that this stage was pretty smooth. I noticed that on the flatter corners, I was able to get my outside pedal down, really lean the bike over, and keep my hips to the outside of the corner. This was especially hard for me when I'm turning right, for whatever reason. I don't really know why. Maybe it's an eyesight thing because I'm left eye dominant, so it's easier for me to turn left, or maybe it's just a flexibility thing because my left hip is way tighter than my right hip. I'm not really sure, and some of these left corners were a little rough, but I'm happy with it overall. So we talked a little bit about my goals during the race. Number 1 goal, preserve energy. Number 2 goal, fast exit speed on the corners. Let's talk about the trail itself. This trail is pretty fun. I would really recommend it to beginners and intermediate riders. It's definitely a blue flow trail. There really aren't that many rocks. Nothing's very tricky. It's a great trail to practice your cornering and just get on the bike and have some fun. There aren't any super noteworthy features on this trail like big jumps or steep rock gardens or really tight turns. Like I said, it's just a pretty smooth trail through and through. If I had to choose what I liked most about this trail, it would be linking together turns. I really enjoyed the feeling of getting one good turn, keeping my exit speed, and then linking it into another turn or a roller. Alright, I'm going to take a break from talking for a little bit. I don't want to just fill the video with noise. Enjoy the rest of the race, and we will recap it at the end. Alright, I'm back, and we're getting close to the end of the race, and it's time to talk about how I did. I finished that stage in 6 minutes and 38 seconds. That was good enough to put me in 13th place out of 22 participants. Considering that I pretty much came in last place at every amateur enduro I signed up for last year, I am super happy with this result. One of my goals this year was to finish top 10 in an amateur enduro, and I'm really close already. Now, a little spoiler alert, stage 2, the next stage, was the coolest stage of the entire race. It was the gnarliest stage, and it was snowing. Hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss out on future videos. If you want to help support the channel, I also have affiliate links to a bunch of different websites where you can buy yourself some cool new gear and give me a little bit of a cut. It costs you nothing, and it helps out a smaller creator. Anyways, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next stage.
Is that it?